Hey, look at this. A Flex 6400 with a separate Maestro. Okay, so this has kind of been a wild ride. Hopefully those of you who have watched my video right here, where I went down to the FlexRadio headquarters, I think it was in April of this year. It was before Dayton. And I did a 4-part video series about this radio and the 6000 series, 6400, 6400M, 6600, 6600M, the Maestro itself, and the insides of a 6700, which is still in production. And then we kind of compared everything. We got to look inside the Power Genius, also their legal limit amplifier that they have now. And it was very cool to see their headquarters, which is in Texas, only about 3 hours south of me. But also got to see inside the radio. So, through a random series of events, I was able to pick up a Flex radio. I would have loved to have the 6600, but was not in the budget. So I got the 6400. Perhaps one of these days I'll update it. But I definitely wanted the separate Maestro because this thing is going to be used in a lot of videos upcoming. So let's take a look at the... of course, the front of the radio here, we're going to set this up. I just took this out of the box, and I haven't set it up yet. I've been itching to set it up for basically the last week, and haven't done it yet because I wanted to go through the setup process with the audience, with you, while recording it, because I wanted to do it like someone who's never set up I've never set up a Flex radio on my own before, so I wanted to walk through the process and show you how to do it. These are the, came with this is a power cable with the positive and negative lead to power the Maestro will power with this direct DC. This is an Ethernet cable that came with the radio itself. The Maestro also came with an AC power cable, so it's got a DC and an AC power cable, and it's got a battery in the back of it. Well, it does not come with a battery. It's got a connection for a battery in the back of it. I had to buy the specifications as far as the size of the battery, the length, the width, and the thickness of the battery are on the FlexRadio website. Yeah, and it recommends 3 or 4 different models of battery, and so I just went and I took those models and I put them into Amazon. The first one I bought was too thick. I couldn't get the plate to go back on the back of it, so it fits inside of the Maestro. Like, see right here, there's this plate that comes down like that, and that's the battery that I bought on Amazon. That's my second battery. The first one, like I said, didn't fit. You couldn't put this plate on the back, or you couldn't get it to snap shut. I'm not looking at it. Like that. Nope. Still not looking at it. There we go. Like that. So you couldn't get it because the battery was too thick. The length and the width was fine, but it was too thick. So I returned that one and I got this one. I'll put a link to this battery in the video description down below so that you can get. This is a 24,000 amp hour battery. So we're going to see how long. But you can power the Maestro with a battery, with AC power, or with DC power, and all those cables come with it. There's a microphone connection to go from a 1/4-inch mic down to a 3.5 millimeter mic. Quick start guide here. There's a cheat sheet right here. This is a cheat sheet that says if you've got a Flex 6400, 6600 quick start guide, and then a 6400M or 6600M. The difference between the M, The regular 6400 and the 6400M is the M is got a screen. The Maestro screen is interfaced, is a part of the radio. It doesn't come off. I thought it would come off. I thought it was like a detachable face, like your VHF radio in your truck. I thought it was, if you got the 6400M, you could take the screen of it off and take it with you. No. The 64, it's a little bit cheaper to buy it with the built-in screen than the separate screen. But if you want the screen remote capability, you have to get the Maestro separately. So we're going to go over that. We're going to set this up. We're going to get it all put together and see how it all works. Stay tuned. So this is the back of the radio before I put it in the up on the desk here. We've got two antenna ports, of course, A and B right here, which is switchable in the Maestro screen. This right here, of course, is the Ethernet. It's got two USB ports for it. I'm going to be interested to see what those USB ports will do. There's a station ground right there. These are for transverters. Right there is ports for transverters. This here, this is the coolest part, I think. This here is Anderson power poles for the power cable. It does come with like a 6-foot positive-negative cable that plugs into here, and then it's bare wires on the other end, so you can plug it into direct to a battery. You can put some other power poles on it, put it in a rig runner, which is what I did. These are your microphone connections and CW key connections. Let's see. That's an accessory port right there. If these covered up ports right here would be, I think they would be open on a 6600, which has 4 receivers in it instead of just the 2 that this has. So let's get it hooked up and see what it looks like. I've got and you can see my face reflected in the Maestro here. I turned off my lights behind me over top my desk because they were reflecting really badly in the screen right here. So let's take a look at the back real quick. So on the back of the Maestro, you have a key, powered speaker. The speaker port on the back of the radio also says powered speaker. Well, I don't have a powered speaker. Well, I don't have a powered speaker with me at the moment. I'll put it that way. So I've just put a regular Motorola speaker into it. We're going to see how that works. Line out phones, PTT, mic. Oh, I forgot to get the microphone. The microphone itself has a 2-prong connector. It looks like a Yaesu mic. It says FlexRadio on it, but it looks like a Yaesu mic coming out to 2 connectors. One of them goes here, and one of them goes to PTT, so that you could use the you could use a PTT foot switch or a hand switch if you wanted to. If you wanted to unplug the PTT and still use the mic, then you could do it that way. And of course, this is the you don't have to use wireless. The Maestro has wireless built into it, of course, but you can plug in Ethernet if you prefer, and that's your 10 to 15 volt DC power supply. Here's a closer up of the battery compartment. Again, the battery I got. This is just a standard USB connector coming out of the radio. I'll go ahead and unplug this. This battery fits in here almost perfectly. It's kind of almost a pain to get in here, but this is the plug in the radio right here. So it's just a standard everyday USB plug, and then this Ruipu, I'm probably not saying that right. 25,000. I think before I said 24,000. A 25,000 milliamp hour battery. So when I got it, it was at like 28%, and I charged it up overnight, and it took several hours to charge. I do not know yet. One experiment that I'm going to have to do is I'm going to see if you plug in the Maestro itself to this power port over here on the left, this 10 to 15 volt DC power port. If you plug that in, will it charge your battery? I don't know. We're going to find out. So, yeah, this thing fits in here almost perfectly. It's a little bit too snug, so it takes it a minute to get in there, and I'm trying to fiddle around with the camera right now also. No. Come on. There we go. Okay, now. Okay, so let me move that out of the way for a moment. Oh, there's only the 12 to 15 volt DC cord in the back because it comes with this power adapter that is standard AC through the converter, the AC to DC converter to that plug. So that plug in the back of the Maestro, you can use this AC plug on, or you can use the DC plug on. So if you wanted to plug that into, you could take this and plug it into your rig runner or direct to your battery in your car, and then power the Maestro from your car battery, so you don't have to run down your internal battery. That's kind of cool. So this quick start guide here, that I'm going to follow the one for the non-M series. You're going to see it says, okay, FlexRadio here, microphone, power cable, Ethernet. It came with all that, of course. The difference is that this one on the back side has the built-in Maestro. Okay, so so it's like 4 steps. Okay, well, 6 steps to get connected. You connect the antenna port here, your power supply. That's antenna, key or paddles. I don't have that right now. Power supply, Ethernet to home router, earth ground, and connect your microphone. I'm going to have to go inside and get the microphone in a second. And then you have a powered speaker here. Number 7 is connected powered speaker. I don't know if the radio itself has an internal speaker. The Maestro has an internal speaker. I'm not sure if the radio itself does or not. So we're going to see that. And then it says, and then you go down here and it said turn on the radio, which we've got that. Right there, you can see the blue on the front of the radio. The power button is green, and this flex symbol on the front is lit up. Download the software, flexradio.com/downloads, and select a radio from the chooser and click connect. And that's all there is to it on the quick start guide. So rather than downloading the software, we're going to go and do it from the Maestro itself. So what I have found is you have to hold this button down for a second when you power the Maestro on. You hear it click, you saw it flash, and keep holding it down, and then you heard it click. There it goes. And you see the screen coming in. It's starting to boot up. It's not lickety split. It takes it a minute to boot up, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. See, you see this. I showed you in the video that I recorded at the Flex headquarters. I'm pretty sure I showed you this unit right here is an 8-inch Dell tablet. They buy them directly from Dell. They go into them. They disable like Bluetooth and a couple other things. And then they put them, and that's what they put them in all in both the 6400 and 6600 M series radios and in the Flex itself. So here's This is the first thing. I've powered this up before, but I've not done anything with it. I just powered it up and make sure everything looked good, and I powered it off. So we're going to go through this together. QRZ is my Wi-Fi. Maybe I'll change that. I'm going to go here and connect. Okay, Wi-Fi password. Boom. Now I'm going to switch the camera where you guys can't see my password. So, connect, and switch back there. There are currently no radios available. Please ensure that your radios are turned on and connected to Ethernet. Okay, so, I know why that is. Because, and this was it's 2 birds with 1 stone here. If you watch my giveaway videos, you saw I redesigned my shack. I did some updates to my shack. My shack has 1 Ethernet cable coming to it, and right now it's got a router, but that router is a mesh router. So I have the Flex radio plugged into the mesh router, which has an internet connection, because then it's plugged into the Ethernet port in my shack, which runs to the house. So the mesh router is pulling an IP and assigning a private IP on the mesh, which has internet access, to everything in the shack right now. So I was curious to see if the radio, if the Maestro would find the radio, if the radio is behind the mesh router, and apparently that doesn't work. Which is okay. Which is okay, you know, because ham radio is all about experimentation. So let me do, let me go back here. Okay. Connect, well, I'm connected to QRZ. Connecting to QRZ. There are no radio. Okay, so I'm going to unplug the mesh router and bypass it real quick. So what I'll have to do is probably get like a 4-port switch. There it goes. Did you see how fast it came up? I have to make sure I switch the video in time. As soon as I plugged in the Ethernet coming out of the back of the Flex to the wall, I didn't even have to go back into it. So it was constantly searching. Constantly searching. And some updates to the ham shack. As you'll probably notice from here to the first video. See, I'm doing that again. Okay, we'll start right here. As you notice, there's been some updates to the ham shack. And I've had some time to play around with this. But I'm connected to QST. QST is my 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi network. The QRZ underneath it is my QRZ is my 2.4 gigahertz. Gosh, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, so this is what a radio should look like when you're on the same network. Now, the important thing to note here is that you do not have to have a SmartLink account set up, enabled, logged in, anything like that, for the Maestro to see your Flex radio on the same local area network. Okay, so a local area network, just trying to start at the very base level here. Most of you probably know what that is. A local area network is your network at home, okay, or your network at your office, or something in a confined space. Okay, usually most people at home have a wireless router that has Wi-Fi, maybe a couple of Ethernet ports in the back of it. You log into it, you set up your SSID for a Wi-Fi connection, and then you connect all your smartphone and your computers, laptops, your TV probably, your Google Home, your Alexa, Amazon thingy, and you connect it all to your local area network. That's a local area network. It's available in your home. It's not available at your neighbor's house. It's not available when you travel and go to a motel. You can't log into your local area network. There are ways around that. We're not going to get into that right now. So the local area network, so if you have, and let me switch back over here, if you have a radio with an IP info, my radio IP right now is 192.168.1.37. Anytime an IP address starts with 192.168, you know it's a local area network. It's either going to be that or it's going to be a 10 dot something network. 99% of the time, 192.168 or 10 dot something 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 is going to be a local area network. So that's my radio IP right now. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to Advanced. That is my Maestro. Okay, so here we are. That's my Maestro Wi-Fi network. That's the IP that my Maestro is pulling from my wireless router right now. The Maestro is on wireless. It's not running wired. It's running wireless. And that's the IP that my Maestro is pulling from my home Wi-Fi router right now. That is my Maestro IP, 192.168.1.35. Oops. Okay. And this is where you can see where I'm connected. That's the radio info. That's the radio that it's. That's my 60. I'm sorry. That's my 6400. That the Maestro sees on the network. So in other words, what's going on here is that the Maestro and the Flex 6400, which is actually right there. You can see it right there. This right here. It's right behind my mixer board. Are not connected together right now via hardline. There's no hardline connection running from the Maestro, which is completely wireless right now. It's running on the battery pack I showed you earlier. And the 6400, both of them are attached to my network. The 6400 has an Ethernet connection to my network, and the Maestro has a wireless connection to my network. And you can connect the Maestro via Ethernet cable also if you want to. But both of them are connected to my network, so they see each other. They don't require a physical cable or line to be connected between them. So now we go to connect, and it comes up and it gives us our firmware version. You'll notice at the beginning of this video, we were on 3.0.19. Since then, 3.0.27 has dropped. I, of course, have upgraded. If I needed to do an update, there would be a green arrow next to that 3.0.27 right now, but I've already done the update. So I'm going to run that version of the firmware. And it's going to log in. And I've got a microphone set up next to it, so you can kind of hear the background static.
Okay, Chuck, well, thanks for being here. Not very strong live stream, but I've got 100% copy on you. Up your stuff and then go out through else. One more call will change the gold. Anybody anywhere? Come down.
That's a guy calling a net, is what that is.
Back to you, Bob.
So, and that's 20 meters. I can switch to 40 meters. Somebody calling a net right there on 7.268. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon right now, Central Standard Time. So once again, that mutes the radio. Once again, the Flex Maestro. Turn that off because it's annoying behind me. The Flex Maestro and the Flex 6400 are connected together over the network, not with a physical line that connects to one another. So, as long as you're on a local area network, the radio and the Maestro will see each other. So you don't need, and this would be true if I was. We're going to do a video later on. This is going to be a series of videos. We do a lot of videos on Flex Radio. Later on, we're going to do a video on the Flex Radio Windows app running on a laptop elsewhere on my network without any cables going between the laptop and the radio. It's all connected via my network. So this is part one. Look for a lot more parts coming up. Let me know in the comments if you use a Flex Radio. Do you use a Flex Radio? Yes or no? And what do you think about it? 73, guys, and we'll catch you next time.